So it's no secret for those of you who are Star Wars fans like myself that there's really not been a good Star Wars game out there recently. Mostly it's been games as a service crap from EA Games, mostly focused on what they can sell to you rather than enjoyable and engaging gameplay. And while EA may have backtracked with Battlefront 2 to try to save the game, it's too little too late. So few people are actually playing now that I find myself waiting more than I'm playing, and if you try to play any other mode aside from Capital Supremacy, you may only get one server, which is the experience I've had with Heroes vs. Villains. And this has had the result of making most of us cynical about any new Star Wars game coming out, pretty much fully expecting it to be crap and trying to take advantage of us and our wallet. So when Vader Immortal came out, I pretty much had that same expectation. This is going to be a game like many others that came before it that decides to add nothing really consequential to the story of any characters involved, because they're too afraid to step on the toes of Disney or the main story writers to make any consequential decisions. Vader Immortal is taking a very different approach. Now, before we go any further, I should mention that this is an Oculus, that's the VR headset, exclusive, and I think that's the biggest issue with this game at the moment, that not everybody is going to be able to experience it. But let's first just talk about the story. It challenges the commonly held conclusion that Darth Vader went back to Mustafar because he wanted to be closer to where he was born and where Padme died. He wanted to be closer to his pain, his failure, to make him stronger as a Sith. But the reality seems to be something a little bit more deep than that. I guess pun intended. And the story reveals this as you progress through it through the eyes of a new character. I won't reveal too much more about the story, but I will say that it will have real consequences, and potentially it may have a connection to Star Wars Episode 9. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what I've been looking for in a new Star Wars story. I don't want another rehash of something that we already know, a place where we know where the story began and we know how it inevitably ends. I want a story with consequence, a story that changes the way we look at a character we know and love, and it looks like Vader Immortal is doing that. It challenges what we think we already know about Darth Vader, about his reasoning for being on Mustafar, and introduces a new connection, a new idea that potentially has consequences for Episode 9. What exactly was Snoke's ring? Why was he wearing a stone from Darth Vader's castle? Could it have something to do with what Darth Vader is looking for? Could it perhaps be what the Knights of Ren have been looking for? Or could it be the reason why Darth Sidious is back in Episode 9? Well, I don't know the answers to any of these questions, and in the end, they may not be answered by Episodes 2 and 3 of Vader Immortal. It may end up having no connection whatsoever to Episode 9, but I really, truly appreciate that they left the door open to have these connections, and that they're being a bit more bold with the story of Darth Vader, a character that many of us know and love. So I will be looking forward to seeing Episodes 2 and 3, and if I can find a way to play them instead of watch them, I will be trying to do that myself. Unfortunately, I don't have an Oculus, like I've said earlier. I've only got an HTC Vive, and so hopefully there's some sort of, I guess, workaround for it, so I can use it with my Vive. I don't want to have to buy another VR headset just to play this game. But at any rate, there are other ways to watch it, and I'm sure you guys know about that. This is exactly where I want to see Star Wars games go. Not to say that I want to see them exclusive to certain platforms. My point is that I want to see games and movies that have consequence to the story, that are interesting, engaging, that have new characters that we can care about. And if that does indeed become the norm, I may go back to buying Star Wars games again and getting excited for them. It's what I've been looking for as a Star Wars fan. As a side note, in case you're interested, the video in the background is actually of Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I've been playing it a lot more as of late. It seems that they've made some really great improvements to it, and it's a lot of fun. And so if you already own Battlefront 2, and if you haven't touched it in a while, go back and check it out. It's actually a lot of fun. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this short video on Star Wars. I don't do a lot of Star Wars content on my channel, mostly because there really aren't any Star Wars games to cover. But if things start to improve and it is a lot more enjoyable for me to play these games, then of course I will be doing more Star Wars content in the future. Anyway guys, I hope you liked the video. I've been Morphologist, and as always, I hope to see you guys next time.